Pigweed here. Today we review an ESB and discuss smartphones. Hello and welcome to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Good evening, Crowhill. Hey, cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers.
okay.
Remember that spark there.
Okay.
So, what is on your mind?
Wait a minute. This is
No, I'm dying to hear. What is on your mind?
Just a minute.
So this is the part in the show where I say, "Hey, Crowhill, what is on your mind?"
I got to take this.
All right. How about this beer? Will could that get your interest?
Okay. All right.
Could you put the phone down for 5 minutes?
Okay. Yeah, put it over there.
Sheesh. Okay. Here. What am I drinking?
Okay.
It's got a weird bottle.
This is a extra special bitter, and if you go to an English ale, a pub, you got mild, you got bitter, you got special, extra special. So that's what this is supposed to be. It's an extract beer. I didn't do all grain this time, and it's cloudy. And it's not very well carved.
It's not carved like you would expect. This, So, did you use corn sugar or table sugar or
just regular table sugar?
Yeah, that's all I do, and I usually do, give or take, right about 2 ounces for 3 gallons.
I did a little less than 2 ounces because an ESB is supposed to be lower on the carbonation, but not this low.
Yeah, it's been. You say it's been 2 weeks?
It's been 2 weeks
in
the
your
bottle.
basement?
No, I took it upstairs to make sure it was warm enough to. So for the listener, when you bottle the beer, it's got to ferment again in the bottle to generate the carbonation.
Yeah.
And if it's too cold, like if it's in your cellar, this time of year, it might not be warm enough for the yeast to actually do anything. So I brought it upstairs where it was warm, and so it should be well carved by now.
I've done that in the wintertime. After 2 weeks, it's not carved, and so I haul all the beer up to the warm room of the house and leave it there for a week, and it recovers. But you're saying it's still struggling.
Yeah, I'm relatively disappointed in this batch. I mean, it's I think it's a little too sweet for the style. I used extract and I used English hops. Pretty straightforward, and I used some biscuit malt to give it a little bit of.
I think of a sort of a breadiness.
Yeah, that's what I be. Right. So I wanted to get that in there, but it's a little too sweet, and it's not carb well, and I don't know. It's okay. It's drinkable, but it's not. All right. Not my favorite.
You're not paying $6.50 in a bar.
Not twice.
Thank you, sir. I will not have another.
What else do you have on the menu? That's right. All right, so smartphones.
Okay, but it's not just smartphones. We could do the history of smartphones and all of that, but we've narrowed this down to a combination of features. And they are the combination of social media and smartphones.
Yeah, so...
And we'll see how what the results are.
Okay, good. So just a few things kind of in general. We were both listening to John Haidt talking to that...
Barry Weiss?
Barry Weiss, yeah.
I like her. She's good.
She is very good. She's very good.
Ever since she left the New York Times, she's just been very interesting.
Anyway, they're having this lovely conversation, and Jonathan Haidt says, social media is sort of like giving a bunch of 4-year-olds a loaded gun.
Yes, but that didn't come, and it didn't come at the beginning.
No.
So there's Facebook and Twitter. There's early
Facebook and early Twitter, right?
And they were both pleasant places to be. And Facebook in general, so there were already chat groups. So if you had a hobby and you were the only kid in your town who was interested in medieval warfare,
right, you
could find your community.
Yeah.
Because somebody would have created just a web page.
Right. A blog or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But why does everyone now have to do it through Facebook? What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with the old way?
The guy right. Who, they just keep sucking in more and more things. Like, this is your news feed. Yeah. This is where you interact with people. Yeah. This is where you post photos.
The platforms kind of took over. Yeah. So John Haidt says, Well, the quote about giving 4-year-olds a loaded gun was when an engineer at Google or Facebook or some other came up with the like and share buttons. They said, so this is like giving a 4-year-old a gun because it totally changed the nature of online communication and what social media was like.
Right. So this is 2009. Facebook offered the like post. That same year, Twitter introduced something even more powerful, the retweet button.
Right.
And then the smartphone. Then it became available. So, and this was still not pre-smartphone, but people were mostly doing it on their computers.
Yes. So early on, so the iPhone came out in 2007, but didn't really get popular for another couple of years. And not everybody had one.
All the apps, and you couldn't get Facebook on your phone. Yeah. Then you had the like and share button. Quickly became a standard of most other platforms.
Right.
And that's where you got the thing. What's it called? Virality.
Yes.
I know that my phone tried to correct me every time vitality. So it's not. It's a recent made-up word, but yeah.
Yes.
Going viral.
Going viral. And then John Haidt explains that he doesn't think it's like giving everybody a gun. He thinks it's like giving everybody a dart gun, which I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Because you imagine, like, a gun, you kill somebody, but let's not be dramatic. You're not killing people. You're just kind of hurting them.
Yes.
If you...
So, a little insult, a little attack on the reputation.
Yeah.
And, anybody can take one of those, right?
But then you get 1,000 of them.
Yes, then you get 1,000 of them.
And the idea is, I've heard other people talk about this, like in normal life, if 3 people disagree with you on something, you would think, boy, maybe I should reconsider. It gives you a bad feeling. You think maybe I'm going the wrong way. I need to rethink about it. If 1,000 people are on your case telling you you're horrible, it's a very, very different thing. And our brains just aren't made to accommodate that kind of thing, where you say something and now 1,000 people are calling you a racist, a sexist, a bigot, or whatever,
Right. But those 3 people you mean 3 people in the room with you.
Right. And that's a big part of the problem is now there is no room. Like you think of a college professor, it's not just the room. It's not just the professor and the 30 students.
Right.
Because all 30 students have this magical device in their pocket where they can instantly make something go worldwide. And all of a sudden, you said something in class in minute 8, and by minute 15, you're the latest horrible person on Twitter or something. Yeah. So there is no more, like if you're just a bunch of people sitting around chatting about something, okay, fine. You say something stupid, people, later on they give you a hard time about it. But it's not like all of a sudden you're the worldwide villain. But nowadays that happens. You make some stray comment that's taken out of context, and then somebody puts it in order to go viral. Because the platforms are designed, they give everybody a dart gun, and then they promote the people who like to shoot that dart gun.
Yes. So things that trigger emotions are the things most likely to go viral.
And especially fear and hatred.
Yeah.
Those emotions are the ones that really get people going. So social media is good at tearing things down. It's really good at people complaining about stuff. It's not very good at building things up. And then, so now we have this situation where, like, you want some sort of a function in the society that's investigating things, that's looking into things, finding out whether somebody's being a good citizen, whether a governor is doing the right stuff, right? That used to be the media. It used to be the newspapers would go out and investigate things.
Right.
But now the media has become untrustworthy. Nobody believes them. We don't have professional trained people doing the investigation. We have 1 million amateurs doing the investigation and doing it badly.
Yeah.
And then ruining reputations. And that's become our check on people in power. Instead of it being a bunch of reporters who, maybe they were never really all that good at it. They were at least somewhat trained and did a half decent job. Now we've got a bunch of amateurs just spewing mud and shooting darts and calling everybody every name in the book.
Right. So the combination of these two things, and the generation that, so what are they who are in college now?
Yeah.
Is the group that had both a smartphone and access to social media in its worst fashion.
They grew up on it.
At the wrong age.
Yeah.
So if you were 12 years old in 2012,
Yeah.
right? So by 2016, you're a freshman in college.
Yeah.
And that's when colleges. Yeah, that's when this kind of
madness started influencing the colleges, and the colleges started going along with it because.
I heard the term. He says, then as a professor, then then you get reported to the bias response team.
Exactly.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So the university itself sets this up.
Yes.
If anybody hurts your feelings, then you can
call the bias response team, and in come a bunch of armed men or something. What happens?
Right. And they run in. They make sure that
the SWAT team comes in and takes you down. Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, when you teach a freshman level class at a major university, there are 300 people in the class, right? He says, now if 3 of them are offended, then you have to answer to somebody.
And here's the worst. Yes, that's right. But the worst part of it is, let's say they're offended at minute 15 in the lecture. And then by minute 30, they sort of understand, oh, okay, I understand why you were saying that. You were trying to make this point.
Yes, right. He was saying part of his style was to provoke them,
yes,
and then resolve the provocation.
Yeah. So if they had to hear that at minute 10, and then hear the resolution
before the class is over,
and then hear the resolution, and then wait until they got home to get on their computer, right? By that time, they would have cooled down. They would have some context.
Yes, they would have understood. Right. So this is where you get the bad combination.
Yes. So you have this. I'm offended right this second, and right this second I can pull out my phone and I can tweet something, and all of a sudden, before the lecture is over, the bias response team is coming in to get rid of the professor. And because of that, a lot of professors self-censor. They're not willing. They've totally changed the way they teach. They've totally changed the things they're willing to say because they're scared to death of this rage mob coming against them based on something they say.
Homer Simpson went in to buy a gun. They said there's a 5-day waiting period. He goes, but I'm mad now!
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. So there's a few things that need to be done to restrain this kind of thing. Like one of the big problems is 11-year-olds shouldn't be in a situation where the entire world can be criticizing them.
Yes.
I'm not sure 60-year-olds should be, but 11-year-olds certainly should.
Right. Be. So so Jonathan Haidt has proposed, age limits, and I don't know where, if it was a state or a country that had started like doing the same thing. And in a way, I kind of get that why it didn't happen from the beginning, but we got to see the damage first. And then, fortunately, my son was in the damage. Not only was he in the damage, not only did he grow up with all of the wrong tools at all the wrong times, he also had 2 years locked up in the house due to COVID.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, this class of 2021, they may never, let's hope these kids don't ever get any power. Poor sons of guns. I mean, really.
Yeah, I know. It's horrible.
So you're already isolated.
Yeah.
You've been isolated. Well, we did a show on Helicopter Parents. I was trying to figure out when we discussed Jonathan Haidt's The Coddling of the American Mind.
Okay, right.
It was Helicopter Parents show.
Okay, right.
And so you already had a situation where you had Stranger Danger in the 90s.
Right.
Then you had, we need to always, no unsupervised play.
Right. You have to know where the kids are all the time.
Then you got cable TV. Mm-hmm. Then you got computer, Atari and computer games. Mm-hmm. So there's more and more staying at home. Mm-hmm. And then you're getting more and more accustomed to being less and less social.
Yes.
Less and less willing to fall down on your own.
Yeah.
And then followed by that generation comes the social media plus smartphone.
Yes.
Plus COVID locked up indoors.
Right. So yeah, pulling COVID into this would just go too much. But
No.
the problem is that social media rewards the people who take offense. It rewards the people who are mean, and it allows these kinds of things to take off like wildfire.
Yes.
Very, very quickly and ruin.
It gave birth to cancel culture.
Yes.
And remember when Weinstein was, attacked by mobs on his campus, lost his job and everything. And he says, he said back then, he goes, "You think that this is just ridiculous stuff confined to campuses?
Right.
You watch."
Yeah.
And these graduates went out and started pissing and moaning to HR and now they're ruining workplaces after they ruined the university.
Now HR is like a scary thing. HR used to be like...
Or you have to go down to HR. I didn't do anything.
HR was supposed to be helping you like fill out your benefits forms and stuff like that.
Exactly. Where do I send my dental?
Exactly. But what it is now is, oh my gosh, what kind of a complaint has... Yeah. And the problem is, once somebody makes that sort of a complaint and spreads it around, and you've got all these people believing that you're a horrible person, how are you supposed to respond to that? Yeah. How can you get your reputation back? How can you...
Right, the boss is just going, "I'm just trying to get widgets out the door, people. Mm-hmm. Why is this... Yeah. Why has this become the center of my business?"
But you said something that I can misinterpret and misapply and make you sound like a monster and get it on social media and get all these people...
But that's not what I meant. Well, that's how it felt to me. Well, I don't know what to say. You're fired.
Now, one thing in this Barry Weiss or Barry or whatever and Jonathan Haidt discussion was that one of the things the founding fathers liked was the way it would take time for somebody who's upset in South Carolina for that to get to Boston. Mm-hmm. That there wasn't... cooler heads could prevail. Yeah. Because people are all upset about this thing. Okay. It's going to take some time for somebody, the Pony Express or whatever, to get that thing. A boat has to sail up to Boston. Yeah,
and bills take a long time. Yeah. By design.
Yes, but all that's gone. All the things, think of all the times.
Right. Yeah. There's somebody is injured somewhere. Some politician comes out and introduces a bill on the floor that must be voted tomorrow about escalators because it's like, well, can we just slow down here?
Yes, can we take a breath? So think about all the times where you're presented with something and you think, it'll take a day to think about that, or there's some time to cool down. There's some time to let it percolate.
Right. You're right. You type that angry email and you just go, "Let me send that in the morning." Right. Well, I mean, a smart person, but not a mature person.
Yes,
but not somebody who's been raised to on outrage.
So for my business, I do a podcast on business issues, and and there have been times where I've recorded something and then said, I'm going to let this one sit overnight first.
Yeah, that had a little heat on it.
Yeah. And most of them are just very straight. But every once in a while, I start to get into a topic where I think, maybe I should think about this one for a day. And I think about it and I think, I'm going to re-record that one because, you really need some time. But that's not the way it works on Twitter. You're supposed to immediately react. You immediately like, you immediately reshare, you immediately add your vile comment or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Piling on somebody.
Everything is happening almost live.
Right.
If somebody, Trump says something that, or Biden, somebody can turn into something ugly. It'll be there within seconds.
Yes. So one of the things that John Haidt talks about that's particularly dreadful about social media is this idea of girls who are going through adolescence, who are posting pictures of themselves and basically inviting and allowing other people to judge them.
So body image is already, at any age, a bigger deal with women than it is men.
Yes, but during adolescence.
Then you have adolescence on top of it.
Yeah.
And then, then you're inviting friends and even strangers to comment on the body that you're already uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
or
it's a horror show. These
that's
poor
what
girls.
yes, girls suffer much more from this problem.
Yes.
Of when early smartphone stuff, guys were playing Fortnite, and girls were engaging in social media more than boys. And
this idea, I mean, girls, everybody during adolescence feels you're awkward. You feel uncomfortable. You don't like the way you walk. You don't like the way
yeah, right. You don't know how you measure up to the other. You don't know how you measure up to the other people in your small class.
Yes.
Now you're wondering how you measure up to everybody in the world.
Yeah. And so 5 years ago, you were being measured against these, the top 0.1% of beautiful women in the world that were all over Instagram. And now you're not only being measured against the top 0.1%, you're also being measured against AI women.
Yeah. Or those women with new filters.
Yes, exactly. And the idea that you would put a girl going through adolescence through that kind of thing, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's just horrifying. You should not do that. So there should be age limits on these kind of things. And I guess
that's better. That's better than telling parents to limit it, because there's the FMO. What is it?
FOMO, fear of missing out. Yeah.
The fear of missing out. So if none of the girls have access to this, then that's fine. Mm-hmm. If not just the mean parents and the sneaky daughters who now have to go behind their parents so that they're not being left out. So I think this idea of widespread age limit is
there are times where the culture has to impose a rule and impose a limit. The idea of, parents should take care of that. That's kind of the libertarian.
Yeah.
Okay, let the parents take care of that. The parents can't take care of that because you have the parent trying to say you can't have a smartphone, and everybody has one.
They didn't put seatbelts in cars as soon as they built cars.
Right.
After a while, once you see a certain amount of damage, then you go, all right, we got to set some standards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why don't the libertarians say let the people choose whether they want to have seatbelts in their cars, or airbags?
I'm sure they do.
They probably do. I mean, it's a whole question of wearing a helmet on a motorcycle, right? So I don't like that perspective. There is a time where the government has to say, or somebody, the culture has to come along and say, no, there's a limit here. We're going to draw a line.
I like that better, where the culture presses the government.
Yes.
To do, not the government.
Not the government
stepping in and imposing without any input from. No. Jonathan Haidt is saying, we have seen the pattern. We know that this is not like some questionable causation and causality.
Right.
We have the numbers. We have self-reporting. We have body counts.
Yes.
This is a real thing.
This has been a disaster.
And this could be stopped like this. However, then there's but they could lie.
Right. So we shouldn't, probably people under 21 shouldn't be buying beer. So maybe we should make a 21-year-old, actually it should be 18. But,
yeah, it should be 18, but go ahead.
But maybe we should have an age limit on when people can buy beer.
Well, people might cheat.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah. I mean, there are all kinds of verifications that go on in all kinds of transactions.
Yes.
Venmo and whatever.
And even if it's not perfect, the idea is that you've established a cultural expectation.
Yes.
You don't buy beer until you're 18.
And it gives the parents the backbone to say, no.
Yes.
The rule is you have to be 17 and you know it. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what your friends are doing or whatever.
Exactly.
And then once then there is like we said, there is no longer the fear of being left out because nobody, and then that becomes the cultural understanding.
Yes.
Then there's no then 5 years from now, no 13 or 14-year-old has any expectation.
Yes.
Because we've already ruined one generation. We don't need to.
We've torn down so many of those things. I mean, how difficult is it for parents? Think about parents 30 years ago, where they would say, no, you're too young for makeup. You're too young for lipstick, because there was a cultural expectation that, no, you didn't wear that kind of stuff until you were whatever age.
Yeah.
And the whole culture kind of supported that idea. It made it easier for parents to say, no, you can't do that. Now, when we've torn down everything and everybody does anything and people do whatever they want, parents can't they don't have the. I mean, they should have a backbone, and they
but
should.
It's hard.
But it's hard, and it's much more difficult for parents to enforce some sort of a rule where nobody else is going along with that. So we do need a cultural change where people say, sorry, there are certain things that 13-year-olds should not be doing. And one of them is being on social media.
That seems... so how about we'll start with the governor of Utah,
okay,
who's making the case for removing cell phones during school time in all schools, at all levels.
Yes,
and I'm reading like. You don't need to convince me. This is way too many words to explain why this is a good idea.
Yeah,
of course it is.
Yes, I saw a post today on LinkedIn where they were praising some company because they stopped doing business with a terrorist organization. Yeah. And I thought, like, why should we praise you for that? I mean, of course you shouldn't do business with a terrorist. What? So we're at a stage in our culture where things are so bad that we have to praise people who do things that are kind of obvious.
Well, that goes to how many mans of the week have we given it to people who are just being normal.
Yes, exactly.
Not being insane is enough to earn you the honor. That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
So the governor's just saying, you don't have to, you don't have to turn your cell phone in. It's just that you don't need, how much time is between classes? 4 minutes to get from class
Not
to class?
Not much.
If your class is on the other side of the building, you're barely making it. It might be 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you really have to be on your phone about lunchtime? You're you should be making friends.
Yes.
At lunchtime. How hard is it to not be on the phone?
At the University of Maryland, it was difficult to get from class to class because you could have a class on one end of the campus, and then you got to go all the way to the other side.
A bicycle.
People, a bicycle or a skateboard or something to try to get across there.
Now they probably have e-bikes running people over and catching on fire.
Or they just show up late. That's probably the most likely thing.
So yes, I don't know. It seems so simple. I don't even know why. It's in the opinion page. It's like the obvious page. Kids don't need to be on their phones. So I asked my son, who's only been out of high school a couple of years, I said, so what was the deal? Could you be on the phone? He says, yeah, between classes, lunchtime. He says, yeah, and what about in class? He goes, yeah, sometimes. He says, often there was a free. I don't know why you need free time. Why aren't you being taught something? The teacher teaches for half the class and then tells you to work on your homework for the other half of the class.
Right. Well,
it's only 40 minutes.
I would like one of these days we need to talk about homework in general. I have some strong opinions about homework, but anyway,
write that down as a future topic.
There we go.
Yes, and so if you had free time, then people had. That's what you would do with your time. Just put it down. Just have friends. Talk in the hallway. Yeah. Talk during lunchtime. Mm-hmm. That seems very easy. Now, how about the digital detox?
A lot of people do things like that, where they say, like, for example, apparently Ben Shapiro is addicted to his phone.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, except on the Sabbath. Right. He doesn't touch his phone. So
Friday night.
This was funny and it's not funny. It's horrible. When the attack happened on Israel.
Right, he was out of the loop.
He was out of the loop. Didn't have his phone. They had to like find a way to contact him.
Drive to his house.
Yeah, exactly. Because
they couldn't drive.
No. Other people were driving to his house to talk to him about this because he had no way of knowing.
No, but not non-Orthodox Jews.
No, other people.
Yeah.
Yes. So this idea, there are times in your life where you need to take a break. You need to fast from TV, from smartphones, from whatever it is.
Yes, there's a term that was I read about dopamine fasting. Mm-hmm. Because this is each of these little likes is a little dopamine drip.
Exactly.
And it's not healthy.
And so what's happening is somebody is trying to say, what can I say? What can I post? What picture can I do that will make other people like this? Yeah. So that, because the goal is to go viral or what, so other people, and that's like,
or just the affirmation.
I made it. You get it. Yes. So all these little likes are this dopamine hit, which is part of the secret sauce that makes you addicted to your phone.
And these guys totally know it. They knew the damage that they were doing when they designed it.
Yes.
And did it anyway.
They did it anyway. And so there's two sides to it. There's the addictive dopamine hit side to it, which is positive in a sort of weird way. But then, of course, there's the negative side, which we've been talking about, was you put something out there and now all of a sudden 10 billion people think you're Hitler. And but this...
Yeah, or you're a fat ass because, you're 5 pounds overweight.
Exactly. And people are just mean. But this idea, what they've done is they've weaponized psychology in a way. They've said, these are the things that we can use these people. We can use these tricks. It's like the people who do stuff in Vegas, to trick you into spending more money.
Spending more, playing more.
Yes.
Staying in the casino longer.
Yes. Buying another drink, everything else.
Yes.
Right.
No clocks, no windows. Those techniques. Right. So this is the same thing. Like, how do we keep people engaged? Scrolling, which means advertising.
Yes.
And then Mark Zuckerberg buys an island in Hawaii.
Exactly.
So the digital detox is people just going, all right, whatever. I'm going to take the entire weekend. Of course, now you have to send a text out to everybody. I won't be responding to any social media for the next 48 hours.
An out-of-office text. That's right. Yeah. Or you just have to somehow create the expectation. Sorry for during these times I'm not. In France, isn't that the law?
Yes, you cannot answer work emails on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's French.
Right.
Okay.
I got to say something nice about the.
Yeah, I know.
So, what do you?
No, I was just thinking we should wrap it up. Like, what do we think should happen? What should? But
hold on, let's just do the light phone.
Okay. The light phone.
The option. So halfway between just dropping it entirely, or going full flip phone.
Flip phone, right? Which I've thought about the flip phone option. I have.
I have too. Well, here the light phone is a lighter version of going full flip phone.
Yes.
And plus it's a little bit, your kid's 12, 13.
Yeah.
But now there is this expectation that you're always going to be in touch.
Yeah.
So you don't want to take away the phone, you don't want to take away the text.
Why isn't there a kid's phone? What
they had the Cricket, the old people's phone.
We have the old people's phone. Why can't we have the teenager phone?
Well, so that's what it looks like. This light phone is because you have things like it'll store music.
Yeah.
It has a headphone jack, which they took away from the.
I know. I hate that. I like the headphone jack. I hate Bluetooth, but
right. Yeah. But it does have Bluetooth, and it has a calculator, and those kind of things. It simply does not have access to the internet or social media.
Right. Okay. Great.
That seems like a nice option.
It does seem like a nice option, and the question is, what are you going to miss? What are the things that on my phone that I would miss if I would miss the camera because I do take pictures from time to time. For example, here's a very simple application. I'm in a store and I see something on sale. I take a picture of the sale thing because every once in a while you get up to the register and they ring it up wrong and you just show them, here it's on sale.
Right. Or I was at a place where they had shoes that I liked, but they didn't have my size. Okay. And so I'll go buy them online. Yeah. And then you take a picture. So there's a million. Yeah, exactly. Or you're just I'm at a brewery that I think you would like.
Yeah.
Let me know this. Oh, he's going to love this.
Yeah.
So now, because you could now bring along a second device. Do you think make digital, like pocket-sized digital cameras anymore? Probably not. It's like professional digital cameras, and then there's a phone.
Well, I think there are still some pocket. I remember when I used to have the little pocket size. Those things were great. I loved them. But the idea having it on your phone, the camera on this thing is better.
I want to send it to you while I'm at the bar.
Exactly.
So I would miss that.
Mm-hmm. I would miss that.
Sorry, so you're saying it's not on the light phone?
I don't think it is.
Well, I mean, I don't know why, because it can text. Why couldn't it send a phone?
I don't think it has a camera.
Yeah.
But
well, anyway. I guess that's how they keep it under $300. A lot of people. Well, I know my son. Any young person wouldn't know how to get to the 7-Eleven without the navigation.
And that's just a bad thing.
It is. I mean, we should take that away from them. I would be fine with it, but on your own vacation, you're in New York City. Yeah, it's kind of nice.
It is kind of nice. I need to get from here to there. It's nice. I have been in another city where I need to get from here to there. I don't know the city.
Yeah.
Pulling up maps.
It really is.
It is very
It
convenient.
really is. So yes, I missed the camera. I missed that. Now, I remember before I discovered podcasts before I got a smartphone, or I didn't know how the smartphone worked. And I found when I gave my car to young Mowgli, I found a bunch of CDs that were full of podcasts.
Oh, interesting.
So they're very small. You can get in 5 seasons of the history of Rome on one disc. So I was listening to podcasts
on the CD.
On a CD.
Okay.
So I would definitely miss the podcast thing, but I already know there's a workaround for that.
Yes.
Except for when you want to listen, which is fine for
when
if you
I
want to do
listen to
season.
today's.
If I would have listened to today's podcast,
yes, which I frequently do,
that would be a little bit of a test.
So there are, I guess, probably all the things that I would like to restrict on my phone. That's probably in the settings somewhere. I could probably go in there and find a way to get rid of some notifications and tone things down in my phone.
Yeah. That little ding and catch it, while I'm at work, and I go, oh, something just happened.
Boy, I wonder what that was. Yeah.
I need.
And here you are, you're having dinner with somebody, or you're talking to them, and then you get this thing, and you feel like you have to check it. No, you don't.
I know.
And we need to stop doing that kind of stuff.
Right. I saw this photo. It's an overhead shot, from a balcony to outdoor diners, and there's one couple totally engaged in the moment, right next to a couple. Both of them
sitting there looking at their phones. Yeah.
Nice date.
Exactly. Yeah, isn't that lovely? Yeah. Okay. So I guess we sort of agree that there should be age limits on some of these things.
And a little detox, a little self-limitation probably wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
While you're on vacation, my brother. They probably don't even do this anymore. This was a few years ago. Knew a family that went on vacation to a place that had no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Deliberately.
There you go.
And the kids panicked. And,
right.
And then you know what they ended up doing? Coming back and playing cards.
Exactly.
And
or you
stuff
go
that they
fishing.
never would have done.
Yes. Yeah. And it's good to do those kind of things. It's good for people to realize that, there are other humans in the world you can actually talk to instead of...
Right. Yes, because this combination is ruined a generation, created cancel culture, ruined people's lives. It's not getting any better.
It's a mess. All right. So we love smartphones.
Yeah.
But there need to be some limits.
Yeah.
There needs to be some reining it in. All right, I've got a letter to the editor, and I've got a man of the week.
All right, we'll do one of them. We'll save the other for another show.
Okay. Well, how about let's do the letter to the editor.
All right.
All right. This one, Bill 21 says, I've seen conservatives who oppose a ceasefire in Gaza. How can people oppose a ceasefire? Fewer people are dying.
Fewer people are dying during a ceasefire.
Yeah. During, all these people are dying. Ceasefire, fewer people are dying. How can you be against that?
It's kind of simplistic there, Mr. Bill.
I think it is very simplistic.
I agree. And in general, that is how ceasefires work.
Yeah.
And in general, if we weren't talking about this situation, I would say you're right. Ceasefires are a good way for everybody to catch their breath and say, all right, is there a way out of this that doesn't involve killing?
Well, that's the thing. That, to me, the question is the ceasefire a path towards peace?
Yeah.
Or is the ceasefire simply a mechanism for we're going to retrench, we're going to reorganize, we're going to be ready to hit you back harder next time? Yeah. And that's...
Because we're never are changing our lifelong, centuries-long commitment to murder all of the Jews and take their property.
Yeah.
So this is not a time that we're going to use to discuss changing our minds, changing our ways. And Israel's going, the only way this changes is to destroy the people who think like that.
Yes.
You've already said you don't, everybody, who's someone voting on two-state solutions, voting on, you need the two people. You need both people to agree on the two-state solution. I don't care about what the Congress's resolution about the two-state, if one of the parties has no interest.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the calls for a ceasefire are naive in this situation.
Yeah.
It's not a way to peace. It's not a way towards the resolution that we need, which is
Right. And
getting
going
the terrorists
viral, right, and then
out.
going viral with an injured child.
Yeah.
And
lying about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's very. I agree.
Yeah.
That's a very.
So, Bill
bad
21,
situation.
thanks for listening. Appreciate the comment and question, but we think you're just not being a little naive.
Seeing
here.
the big picture,
Yeah.
bro.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Cheers. Thanks so much for listening to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Remember to visit us at pigweedandcrowhill.com or send us an email at pigweedshow@gmail.com.